Welcome, Bearcat fans, to UC Bearcats and the Prowl, part of the Grueling Truth Radio Network. As always, I'm your host, James Ernest, along with Mark Fightmaster. Mark, what do we got going on this week?
Well, James, it looks like we're going to try and put a bow on the football season. I kind of like to call it a post-mortem, maybe, and then we'll take a look at how the basketball team's doing, what they've got on the road ahead.
Sounds good. So with the football, any big news?
Nothing yet. I mean, we got to wait till December 8th, I think, is the date that they don't have to pay Tuberville anymore, or that the price goes down for getting rid of them. So we're kind of in a holding pattern until then. The season ended with a resounding thud with that overtime loss to Tulsa. They get out to a nice lead and then just couldn't hold it. And actually it's kind of funny because I was watching the game and they actually showed some creativity on offense, which they hadn't shown all season. And I'm sitting there wondering, okay, if they had done this all season, would it have been better? But, for some reason they didn't. And, get your hopes up nice and high with a big early lead, and then they let it all come crashing down.
Exactly. So, yeah. I mean, if anything, I would have figured they came out flat, But you're right. Yeah. They were in it early. I mean, they gave it all. And then, the trick play, I mean, that was nice. Yeah, I mean, you would think that would be more an inspired team, yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, though, man, it was such a metaphor for the season, Big expectations come in raring to go, and then all of a sudden it just comes crashing down. It was rough. So, but, it's the off season now, so we can look forward to the coaching rumors and the coaching carousel that has already started, with Charlie Strong getting fired, Mark Helfrich getting fired. So, maybe we'll see what's going to happen here. I feel rather confident saying Tommy Tuberville is going to be the next one on the list, and not necessarily he's going to be fired, but maybe just not renewed. It was one of those seasons, man. One that they're not going to be happy to relive anytime soon.
Obviously, there's no, clear cut who the next coach is going to be, but I've heard there are some rumors going around.
Well, social media, a lot of rumors out there about at least bringing Charlie Strong in for an interview. I'll tell you what, I think the athletic director, Mike Bone, would be doing UC football a disservice if they didn't at least bring him in for an interview and see what he thinks. This is a guy who had success at Louisville and then went to Texas and was playing with another coach's recruits. And he had a young team. He had a lot of freshmen and sophomores starting this year. Maybe he wants to get himself reestablished. Maybe he wants to make a name for himself again. The bad thing about that is, does it make UC a stepping stone program again? Maybe. But I think we saw how it went with Tuberville. We thought that he was the coach and was going to come in. He was an established coach. He was, this would be the place that he was going to retire, and he wanted to show what he could do. And that really didn't work out.
Oh, shoot, here there's some coaches that aren't available right now that would be might be a good fit. Like maybe a former UC assistant.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I think a lot of the local people here would really be happy if they brought Kerry Combs in. But I think he would do fine. He's a great recruiter. You see that at Ohio State. He may be their leading recruiter. And he's the cornerbacks and the special teams coach, or the special teams coordinator. But and he's established in Cincinnati. He coached high school football here from mid to late 80s until 2006 when he left to go to UC. He does have history with UC. I could definitely see I could definitely see him coming in for an interview. But then you're dealing with he's at Ohio State, and the allure of Ohio State. Would he leave there and come here? If he wants to be a head coach, yes. Is he happy where he is? No one's going to know until they bring him in for an interview and at least gauge his interest.
And the difficulty about that would be then you have to wait till after their season's done to start the process. So by then, maybe another team's offered Strong the job, and you miss out on him. Or of course, the most talked about, and I think the most likely next head coach of the Cincinnati Bearcats football team, Mike Goodpasture. I mean, I've heard massive talk on the internet that they want to go with somebody who's got arena experience, how to coach 7-on-7, somebody who knows
a great offensive mind like that only comes around every once in a lifetime.
Exactly.
So, but then the bad thing is then we may not have a radio show because we could end up on his staff. So.
That's true. We'll find time for the radio show, but now the biggest problem would be all the fines he would get from cursing out the officials. Baffles me every time I go to any sporting event with him. It could be playing checkers, and I wouldn't be surprised if they kicked him out of the game.
I'll tell you what, he would rival Harbaugh after the Ohio State game, wouldn't he?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
his post-game press conferences would be something. Mm.
It would be fun.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Well, give that one a shout out.
Yeah, definitely. He's a long shot, but you got to put his name out there somewhere, right?
Oh, definitely. If you mention it, I mean, heck, the other former River Monsters coach, Brian Schmidt, heck, he almost got that IFL job. So I mean, just by saying the name enough times, anything can happen. Actually,
exactly.
I'm looking forward to. I know it doesn't relate to college football directly, but that idea with the fans voting on the coaching staff and all that is just an interesting idea. So, of course, if the fans could vote on the UC next head coach, I agree with you. I believe they'd probably take the fellow from Ohio State.
Yeah, I think Kerry Combs would be the runaway fans' choice. But you brought up a great point. Ohio State right now, maybe somewhat controversially, is rated second in the college football playoff. So they're going to be playing on if things stay the way they are, they'll be playing New Year's Eve. Yeah. Charlie Strong is available now. So if they bring him in for an interview, again, it'll be interesting to see if they bring Charlie Strong in for an interview and at what point they bring him in for an interview. If they bring him in early and he wows them and they wow him with a contract, it could be all said and done before Combs even gets a shot. So I don't know if UC will make a quick decision on this. I could see them waiting and trying to do at least their due diligence. I guess the one scenario that I just cannot see playing out is Tuberville comes back. Exactly. I think he's burned enough bridges, especially with local coaches, local media, and the fans. I just don't see it happening for him. So I feel 99% sure that we're going to be dealing with a coaching vacancy here.
Exactly. Yeah, I was going to say that I would think the only thing that might happen where somebody come back from the current staff, maybe one of his assistants gets promoted to head coach, maybe the defensive coordinator, that kind of thing. But yeah, I agree with you. They're not going to bring Tuberville back. It wouldn't make any sense at this point.
Yeah, I just I see it hard to promote from within when you've got when you had the season that you had, and maybe the coordinators are great football coaches, great football minds, but when you put up the 4-8 season and go 1-7 in the American Athletic, I don't see that as a resume builder for an assistant.
That is a good point.
But I'm not ruling it out because maybe Mike Bone knows better than we do and knows somebody, knows them on the staff better. But I just, again, I keep going back to if UC wants to show that it is a serious football school, which they tried to do with the Big 12 expansion.
Yeah.
If they want to catch national eyes, if they want to catch national news, they're going to have to make a big splash in the coaching search when it happens. And I guess if it happens, I guess you have to put that qualifier in there.
Exactly.
But
they don't want to have to go back to the days of because at one point you have to buy football tickets to be able to buy basketball tickets.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You had to, if you wanted to get basketball season tickets, I think there was a tie-in with football. And I think there were even times when even if you wanted to buy a package of basketball tickets, like 3 or 4 games, they would tie football into it. And we can't get back to those dark days of UC football.
Yeah, that would be horrible.
Not with that stadium, not with what they want to do, because ultimately, in 3 to 4 years, if they're and this is getting more into the entire scope of college football. If there's mega conferences in 3 to 4 years, which some people are predicting, just big 15-team conferences in different areas, if UC wants to be considered part of that, they cannot go back to the 90s, the early 90s, the mid 90s. They've got to get past. Well, Rick Minner had some success. He started to build the program, but they can't regress any further than that. And with the way college football is going, they can't afford to slip back into the dark ages. They've got to stay relevant. And this coaching, this eventual coaching hire is maybe one of the only ways to do that right now.
Yeah.
Because the product on the field sure as heck didn't do it.
Yeah, what they need, and then, because you're right with the mega conferences, because what they're going to end up doing, I believe, would be probably 5 to 6 major conferences. And then, because they'll end up moving the tournament to, instead of 4 teams, they're going to make it 8 teams, so you'll have the 6 in-large, 6 automatics, and then the 2 in-large bids. That way they can...
Yeah. Yeah, and again, we're getting back into the future scope of college football, but even if you look at last night's playoff rankings, we had Washington in at 4th, but if they lose to Colorado...
exactly, because Colorado had lost to Michigan, so Michigan...
Right.
Jump ahead.
I mean, we could be looking at, if Clemson loses and if Washington lose, if those 2 teams lose, we could be looking at basically a college football playoff nightmare scenario where you got 3 Big Ten teams in there.
Let's be honest, Alabama could walk out and go, we're not even playing this game, and we have.
I think
game. We don't really care about the SEC championship. The other team can have it, and probably still dropping the poll. Still wouldn't even go to number 2. That'd be the crazy part.
Yeah, I mean, it's right now. It is so well, and you see, we're going back to the idea of the mega conferences, the Pac-12. Again, if Washington loses, or even if they win, and let's say Wisconsin destroys Penn State, what happens? Could Wisconsin jump all the way up into 4th if Washington isn't impressive? You don't know, and I think if something like that were to happen, then the Pac-12 is going to be one of the leaders in trying to get this whole thing revamped, because then they've got their conference champion left out, and
Yeah, they already should be on that, because they're the ones with Baylor and TCU, right? Or
well, that was the Big 12.
Big 12, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, still,
12 is all confused, and then they don't even have the right number of teams to be the 10 or 12. Yeah,
it's like the Big 10.
Big 10's 12, the Big 12's 10. Shoot, these people need to learn how to name their stuff.
Exactly, but tying it back to UC, I mean, if we're going to get into those mega conferences, UC has got to make an aggressive hire once the time comes to hire a new coach. Who that aggressive hire is, I don't know. I mean, I can tell you this: you can rule Mark Helfrich out. He's not going to come here. Oregon's recently fired coach. But maybe you can convince Charlie Strong, too, because he has those ties to Louisville.
Exactly.
From his time there.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And he can recruit well, of course, still down there in Louisville, and then even up in this area, because they did have some Cincinnati people that were going down to Louisville to play for him.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And so I think, they've got to make this is, and I don't think I'm putting it too lightly, this may be the most important hire they make in their football, in at least recent football history, because they can't afford another swing and a miss like Tommy Tuberville.
Exactly.
I mean, they were swinging for the fences with Tuberville, and they ended up popping out the shortstop, So we'll see what happens. But, again, I can't voice my opinion on this strong enough. I really think Mike Bone would be doing football fans at UC and the football program a disservice if he didn't at least interview Charlie Strong.
Definitely. Yeah, because, he's shown that he knows what he's doing. It's just, Texas has been down for a while now, and it would have been almost impossible to get them back that quickly. It's kind of the same thing with, Michigan, when they had Rodriguez there. Rodriguez, it's not like he forgot how to coach, because he's went on and he's had success again. It's just at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe UC could reap the benefits of a mistake that Texas may have made. The Texas Longhorns are not the program they used to be because of the emergence of TCU and Baylor, like you mentioned those two teams before. Heck, even at Texas Tech, they've all become Houston, SMU. They're all starting to grow again, and that's all that same area. So he wasn't getting. Well, actually, I don't want to say him, because he actually was starting to get some more talent in his freshmen and sophomores. But his predecessor, Mac Brown, was losing out a little bit in the recruiting wars. And he was left to play with the players that he was given. And he couldn't adapt. And hopefully UC can capitalize on what I think may have been a mistake by Texas. But we'll see.
Good point. Oh, good news. It looks like our guest, Eric Hicks, will be calling in the next couple minutes.
Excellent.
Looking forward to that. Speaking of that, we'll kind of transition over into basketball. So what have the Bearcats been up to?
Quite honestly, they've been looking good. They've only had, I think they've only played one other game since the last time we talked. Let me double check. It was a game against Lipscomb, I believe, or somebody like that.
Lipscomb. Yep. Yeah, they won pretty handily.
Yeah, and they beat Samford, but that was we talked the night that they played Samford. We actually had our show, so they beat Lipscomb 91-68. And again, that's another one of those games where Lipscomb may be good down the road in their conference, but it's not much. So the big game's coming up tomorrow, I believe. Is tomorrow December 1st? Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah. At 9 o'clock tomorrow night, they play Iowa State. Iowa State, just like the Bearcats, they are sitting at 5-1. And this could be a really interesting game because Iowa State is, and this is an away game too. So this, we're going to learn a lot about this team. Iowa State is 13th in the country, I believe, in overall scoring, and they're 59th in
Eric Hicks.
Did I just hear Eric?
Yep,
yeah,
that's Eric.
how you doing?
Good.
Yeah, things are going well. Glad to have you on our show, Eric. I'm James, and of course, my co-host Mark. How you been?
Been doing good, man. Watching a little college basketball, UNC, Indiana right now.
Sounds like a good one.
Yeah. Indiana's up 7.
Cool.
Mark always likes to ask people what they've been getting into recently. What you been up to?
Recently I decided to go back and play overseas. I took a year and a half off to relax. Had a couple minor injuries. Probably looking forward towards leaving out within the next week or two to go play. I have a couple options. I'm actually waiting to actually sign. So and until I sign, I don't consider myself actually over there because a lot of things can happen within that little small time period.
Definitely. But don't you have like a semi-local game coming up, like an ABA?
Oh yeah, with the ABA, I've been playing with the Kentucky Enforcers. We're currently number 4 in the country, and we're 6-0.
Oh, sounds
cool.
Great. Yeah. So when's the next big game with them?
The next game is I think Saturday. I got to check the schedule because we normally play is either here or away. We play on Saturdays and Sundays.
Oh, cool.
We got a great group of guys.
Yeah, I was going to say, any other former UC or local talent?
Jeff Robinson that played at Xavier. We have a couple more guys that played at like Thomas More in different schools. But it was funny because I joke with Jeff a lot about me playing with an Xavier guy.
Exactly, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I'm sure you all give each other a bunch of grief about the crosstown shootout. Oh.
Yeah. But we actually play good together. And our first game was in Pittsburgh. Our last 5 was here at home, Cincinnati Christian University. And we've been having pretty good turnout. It's good to get up and down.
Oh, definitely. It's always nice to be out there getting ready for, like you said, you're taking off the season and starting up back again. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Definitely. Yeah. And then, yeah, you played pretty much everywhere. I mean, it would almost be easier for me to say, hey, name the places you haven't played. But in all seriousness, it's probably, 5, 6 different major countries that you played for?
Yeah, I've been everywhere. And then when you actually sign in some of the European countries and you play in like Euro League or Euro Challenge, you go to different countries and play other teams. So if I'm in Belgium, I'm playing teams in Italy and France and Russia too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, Mark, got any good ones for Eric?
You know what? First of all, I got to tell you, Eric, when you were at UC, you're one of my favorite players, man. The way you played the game, as intense as you were on defense, but also being able to score, it was awesome to watch. So I just wanted to get that out there first of all. So,
thank you, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, it was great. It was great watching you develop when you were here at UC. You know, coming in when we were when the team was in the Conference USA, and then being on that team when we moved into the Big East. That was and it was great to watch you play. So and you had 24 career double doubles, and I think you had 11 of them your senior year, and I think that's when you had your triple double too. So that was it was impressive. So how much pride did you and do you still take in your defensive ability when you're out there on the court?
Yeah, I take a lot of pride in that because basically it's you and that guy that you're guarding, one-on-one pretty much, besides like the pick and rolls where the guards aren't played in. But pretty much it's you and him. If he throw it in the block, I pretty much think I'm better than him, so I need to be able to stop him. Yeah.
Cool. And that's I always said you played basketball like a football player, at least in my opinion. Now you after high school, did you come straight to UC or did you go play elsewhere before?
Nah, straight here. I did 4 years at UC.
Straight up. And okay. And did you? What brought you up to Cincinnati? Because you were from North Carolina. What brought you up here?
The run they was having that year, they were ranked number 4 in the country. Sponsored by Jordan, the uniform.
Yeah.
And also Carolina offered me late, so I found that a little disrespectful.
Okay.
So me being from Carolina, I figured, you got Wake Forest, North Carolina State. All those are good schools they offered, but it's nothing like Carolina. So when they offered kind of late, I was just like, wow, I've been here in your backyard for forever. So then I narrowed it to the other schools outside of the state I like.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, hey, I'll tell you what, I'm glad you ended up here because I like I said, I loved watching you play. So now, who recruited you up here? Which coach recruited you?
He's the head coach at Ole Miss now, Andy Kennedy.
Andy Kennedy. Okay. I couldn't remember which coach it was who was one of the main recruiters on that staff. So, and What was the big difference? Could you tell a big difference going from Conference USA to the Big East?
At the time, by the time I actually started playing, Conference USA was deep because the last year we was there, we got like 7 teams in the tournament. But I would say more of the schools you know by name, like Georgetown, they got the history. We played against them, UConn. But the competition was pretty much the same because Conference USA was one of them sleeper conferences at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just say you got to play against the, Conference USA, you had Bobby Lukes at the time. But he didn't have the same respect as a Calhoun. But the talent on both teams was there.
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah. I would say that was probably the biggest difference, just legendary coaches versus other coaches. But the talent-wise that I had to play against, I had to lace up my shoes tight every night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and was there one player that you absolutely just hated playing against?
I hated playing against 7-footers, and they would make me guard them because I'm really like a 4. But when you play 7-footers, like they always tell you can't teach height.
No,
so sometimes you could box them out, and the ball just bounces their way, and they'll get the rebound. But like I prefer to guard a 4 because normally they're going to be about 6'8", 6'9". Oh, that's a field day for me most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But individual player, I remember D. Wade went off on us. But a lot of people could say that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was something.
Yeah, him. Let me just think off the top. No, I can't really just think of one in particular player that we was kind of like, or as a team or individually, we was really worried about.
And this is my last question. I'm turning it back over to James. What one place that you played did you enjoy playing the most, other than UC? One of the outside arenas that you went to. What was your favorite place to play?
We played Kentucky up in Indiana. That game was so packed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my goodness. I think it was the second round of the NCAA tournament. We ended up losing, though.
Yeah.
But the atmosphere, it was just fun. I mean, it was the NCAA tournament. You could feel the March Madness feel.
Cool. Yeah, I remember watching that game. And
we blew it.
Bummer that you lost, but man, it was a heck of an effort. I imagine that it was crazy there because it sure sounded like it on TV.
Man, it was definitely great. That was probably the largest crowd I've played in front of.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we set an attendance record for second round of the NCAA tournament, the attendance.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised you get all those crazy people up there from Big Blue Nation, and then you get all the Bearcats fans. I'm sure that they all, well, I know they all traveled well, so I bet it was crazy.
Yeah.
All right, James, back to you.
Yeah, Eric, Mark mentioned you played basketball like a football player. Well, of course, we know that you played football as well. What was that like? What was it like being a commando?
Man, I'm not going to lie, I was sorry. Without the shoulder pads, I was an All-American now. You give me the helmet, because we didn't practice with the shoulder pads. So when I actually put them on and they threw me the ball, it was hard for me to close my hands because I hadn't adjusted to it. But at practice, when I just had the helmet, shorts, running routes, I was like, oh, I can catch. Oh, this reminds me of high school and back in the day, middle school. I was like, oh, it's football. But on the pads, it's totally different. I couldn't close my hands or drop like 5 touchdowns. I finally got one, though, and I got one at the end of the game and went a little crazy celebrating.
Yeah. Nice. Well, fortunately, with playing for the Commandos, you didn't have to worry too much about winning and losing. I mean, they ended up winning, 2-3 championships in a 4-year period. So, yeah, they were a nice team to be on.
I need to tell Billy I need a ring because technically I was on the team.
You were?
You should.
Yeah,
if you were on the team, you definitely should have got a ring for it.
I only played the one game. I was done after that. After hitting that ground, hey, it's totally different. You wake up the next morning, I was like, after the game, I was like, oh, okay, it ain't that bad. woke up the next morning like, whoa, this is a totally different story than basketball.
Exactly. Yeah. Once the adrenaline's no longer there, it just
man.
Let's see. Speaking about representing different teams and all, I heard you were representing the United States in. Didn't you play some type of? I don't want to say Olympics, but it was something along those lines.
Yeah, it was an Olympic qualifier. I played with them in Taiwan 3 years ago. I actually won a gold medal in the Olympics going into my senior year, where they take the seniors and you go out and play. We won that. Bayhan, Coach Capel, and Jay Wright was the head coach of Villanova. They won the national championship last year. So we won that.
You played under quite a few good coaches there with that team, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah,
and
we had a great staff.
Yeah, and that was going into your senior year, right? You said?
Yeah, as soon as I got back, because we played at Izmir, Turkey, we won the gold medal, won unbeaten. As soon as I got off the plane, I started hearing all that hugs fuss. Will Hugs come back? Hugs I'm talking about, I'm in the airport.
Yeah.
I get off the plane because we was over there for like 2 weeks. So soon my phone wasn't working. You know, back then that's what's that, 12, 11 years ago?
Yeah.
So all the technology isn't like now where you can just call overseas real easy or whatever. It was a little bit more complicated. So when I got back, I had turned my phone plan off, but I had it set up so the date I got back, it'll be on. Turn my phone on, I get like 30 messages.
Mm.
So I was like, what's going on? So then I go sit down and get something to eat, and it's all over ESPN and everything.
So how did playing overseas with those guys help you going into your senior year? How did it help your game?
Oh, because the first team was just as good as the second team. I mean, I had to guard Duke center. So, I mean, everybody on the team was good. So it just made me develop more and learn I got to come out and play hard each and every play. Because on that team, you had to play hard each and every play, or if not, you was coming out because somebody else. I mean, it was a team full of all-stars, so somebody else was going to get in and do it.
Because I remember you were just a beast your senior year. I mean, and I could tell your game developed a little bit more, and so I was, playing for those coaches and playing with those guys. I'm sure that helped. So
yeah, it definitely helped because the thing Hugs used to do, instead of putting me and Max on the same team at practice, we had to guard each other my whole stint there, which was 3 years with him.
Mm.
So basically, he tried to match up the players alike, like Kareem Johnson and Robert Whaley would guard each other, and me and Max.
Okay. I bet those were some fun battles, huh?
Oh, my goodness. Practice was like a dunk contest. Somebody was going to get dunked on. They didn't know who it was, but it was going to be somebody. Because he would put Armin Kirkland and James White against each other. Then you had Tony Bobbitt and Phil Williams guarding each other.
Oh, my God.
Chad Moore and Nick Williams. So, I mean, like, somebody was going to dunk on somebody at some point.
Man, what a team. That was a fun team. I got to tell you, that was a fun team to watch. I really enjoyed watching you guys play. So you said you got a couple things in the works about maybe playing back overseas. What are you doing to keep yourself in shape? You in the gym all the time? What are you doing?
Yeah, I train all the time. I train every day for at least 2 to 3 hours. But it's kind of like work for me now. I'm accustomed to doing it. Mm-hmm. And I also got my training company, Mind, Body, and Soul by Eric Hicks, where I train kids.
Oh, cool. And how long you been doing that?
I've been doing it most of the off seasons I come back.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say you're on, day 44 or something every now and again. I see pop up on Facebook.
I'm on day 51. I've been going 51 days straight.
Nice.
I was just straight working out. Well, no, hold on. I take that back. I took Thanksgiving off and homecoming. Thanksgiving and homecoming. So 3 days off.
That's pretty impressive.
Hey, they deep fried the turkey, man. I had to take that day off.
I think I've got a pretty impressive streak of 51 days without going to the gym going on. So we're same thing here,
Oh man, wow.
No.
I think that streak's easier to do.
Yeah, I guarantee you it's easier to do, man. So you said you're working with kids. What ages?
All ages. It just depends on what they need working on. Like, if I can get a guy that's in high school, a post guy, I can show him things. I've seen our coaches work with guards. So I don't have the best ball handling skills, but I can show a guard what to do and the drills to get them better.
Very cool.
So I can work all ages, all sizes. And the drills I do, because I had the NBA tryouts, summer league, all that, they're NBA and college drills.
Nice. Yeah, you played in the NBA in the developmental league. What teams did you play for in that?
Oh no, I didn't play in the D League. I left. I went overseas because it
yeah.
paid. But I did summer league with the Boston Celtics, Miami Heat, and at the time New Jersey Nets, but they're the Brooklyn Nets now.
The Brooklyn Nets. Okay, cool. Yeah, I remember reading something about that. I couldn't remember which it was that you were in there for the summer league or the D League. So okay, so you make a little more playing overseas.
A lot more. Way.
A lot.
It's like a head coach and a grad assistant.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, a lot more. But it was pretty much fun. I mean, especially NBA Summer League. But if you're coming back from overseas, it's like you've been gone for like 8-9 months, and then you put in a full month with the NBA team, and the next thing you know, you only get like 2-3 months at home, and then it's time to leave again. So
yeah,
it's tough sometimes. But it all depends on where you play at, because now overseas have developed so much. Some seasons you can go to some countries, it's a 3-month season. Some is 9 months, some is 6 months. So it all depends.
And what's the best competition overseas? Which country had the best competition that you've played in?
I would say probably, the actual highest level is EuroLeague, and that's when you play against like everybody. It depends. Certain countries got certain rules. Like, I love China, but there's only 2 Americans per team. And in the fourth quarter, only 1 can play.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so that's a lot easier. You only got to beat another American. For Europe, rules are different. You can have 7 import players, which means foreign players from America, Serbia, Africa, wherever. But you can only have 7 of them. So some people got like 5-6 Americans. So then it becomes harder.
Yeah, okay.
So it just depends on, pretty much. But I would say probably Russia. The competition was pretty hard there, Russia. Because a lot of those guys are back and forth with the NBA at the time.
Okay. James, I'm sorry, I took over again, man.
It's all good.
I'll let you ask a couple questions.
No, I was going to say, I understand. I know you're a big fan, so I can't fault you there. I was going to say, I'm sure there'll be someone we end up having on that I'm like, it happened. So you played pretty much everywhere, like you were saying, and you've, just the experiences and all. What with winning the Belgium league? What was that like?
It was definitely fun. Actually, I don't know if y'all seen it on 48 Hours that just passed. The guy Sebastian, that was my teammate.
Oh, nice.
And the one that got, remember when they bombed Brussels?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. The basketball player that got blew up, that was him.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I did not see it. That's the reason why I said no. I thought it was going to be something good there at the end, but no.
Yeah, so they had him on 48 Hours. He's healthy now. He's healthy. He's good. Okay. He's not playing no more, but TMZ had some real bad pictures, but thank God he went through the surgery. Everything. He's back now. They had him on 48 Hours, last week. And they actually, I was saying that to get to the point, they actually had a picture of us winning the championship together. I was watching TV, and they had a picture of me up there. We were celebrating the championship.
That's cool.
But that was my first championship overseas. It was definitely fun. I had a great time. Since then, I only won one more. But I thought all of them was going to be so easy like that one because first year out, win one. But they're definitely hard. I've been to a couple semifinals and finals, but I only won one more since then.
And you probably have been to several All-Star games, I would assume, over there?
Oh, yeah. Been to a lot of All-Star games.
We got, speaking of, you mentioned some of the players you'd played at UC with. Next week we have Armin Kirkland. Any good, funny stories about him that we can give him grief about?
Oh, my goodness. I remember Armin. He used to joke with a lot of the walk-ons all the time. But no, Armin's a great guy. We actually came in together, roommates. So basically me, him, and Chad, we was the three freshmen coming in. And the other guys they had was JUCOs, which was only going to be there. They was older guys anyway, Kareem and Tony. But me, him, and Chad, we were like the three freshmen that came in together. So we kind of stuck together through the whole 4 years.
Yeah, so that was one of the stables of UC there for a while, the JUCO. So, there was just kind of probably a nice mix of the team. You had, experienced players, and, you all were learning the ropes together. So that sounds good.
Yeah, it was a great time. I wouldn't trade it for nothing. Great time.
So who did you get to reconnect with recently when you went back to homecoming?
Oh, man, everybody. Kenyon, DeMar, Lenny. Everybody was back. And then, then we also got each other's phone numbers. So everybody was calling to see if we will all be here or whatever. So everybody was back. Corey, and then a lot of Tate. A lot of the guys I talk to that live around here or live close, or when they come into town, we talk anyway.
Sounds great. So there was a nice turnout. That's always
great turnout. We all went out, went to the game, went out, got something to eat afterwards. It was just a great time to catch up, have laughs, giggles about the things that used to happen when everybody played at different times.
We definitely have appreciated you being on the show. Mark, any final questions?
Nah, I'm all questioned out. I've taken up enough of his time, but I got to tell you, Eric, it's awesome talking to you, man. It's great catching up with you and finding out what you're doing, and it has been a definite honor to have you on, man.
Thanks for having me, man. Anytime. Hopefully we can pull off this win tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. We were talking about that a little bit right before you called in. Iowa State, tough team and playing there, but I got a good feeling about it. We'll see.
They stole one from us last year. It's our turn.
I hear you.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome. We look forward to following up with you and finding out more about what team you end up hooking up with later this year, and we'll have you either back on the show later this season or maybe next season. Sound great?
Sounds great to me.
Excellent. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks, Eric.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, that was a good one as always. Shoot. Very interesting. World traveler. All the places he's been and all the teammates he's played with. As he was mentioning, being in the Olympics. Wow.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, how the wording on the Wikipedia, it made it sound more like a Pan Am Games, but I wasn't sure.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say, how it is when you find stuff on the internet, you don't hear the whole story. So that's why it's nice to have him on the show to be able to clarify and learn more about it.
Exactly.
So like we were saying, Iowa State should be a tough game for them.
Should be.
I'm hoping to be covering the UC game on Friday. Of course, the most important one, the women's game. And they will be playing, who they got this week? Tennessee Tech. So I don't know anything about Tennessee Tech, but so far the UC women have been doing well. They're 5-1, I believe, just like the men. So that's always a good start to the season.
Yeah, definitely like to see them get out there and get another win. That'd be good stuff.
Exactly. So hopefully next week I'll have some more to report about that. And after that, they're going up to Columbus and playing against Ohio State. And then Fifth Third Arena, the Crosstown Shootout, December 11th. So now, of course, not the men's, the women's.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the men's isn't until like January 26th or something.
Yeah, end of January.
Yeah, so that'll be nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, sounds great. Another wonderful show. Like I had mentioned, we're going to have Armin Kirkland on next week. Looking forward to that. To put out a feeler there for Terry Nelson, maybe have him on again, and maybe get with Eric and have maybe some of his other teammates on the show in the upcoming weeks. So all kinds of good stuff going on here on the Grueling Truth, or on the UC Bearcats on the Prowl. So, Mark, any final thoughts?
Nah, go Bearcats. Let's get a win tomorrow night.
Sounds great. And, folks, we'll talk to you next week. Have a nice weekend.